Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Have you heard of shading? That's what we're going to be talking about today. My name is Andre. Welcome to Art Club.
Art club.
Have you ever seen a drawing that was so well done that it looked real? It probably looked so realistic because of shading. So, what is shading? Maybe you've heard of shading before. Maybe you've done shading before. Shading is just a technique that's used to add areas of shadow or darkness to your pictures. If you think about an object in the sunlight, the light hits on one side, which is what we call the highlight, and it's dark on the other side, which is what we call the shadow. On the shadow side, there's usually an area on one edge where the shadow is very dark, and then the shadow kind of fades into the light area. There's also usually a spot where the shadow stops entirely, so it's all light on the other side. In drawing, we have several techniques to add these areas of light and shadow to create the illusion of depth. There are a few different types of shading that artists use. It's good to understand them all so you can use the right type of shading depending on what you're drawing and what you're drawing with. You got to use the right tool for the right job. Solid shading is like flat shading. It's all about deciding what areas are in light and leaving them white, and which areas are in shadow and making them dark. There's no in-between areas. That's it. Just pure light and pure dark. Solid shading means solid shadows. To do smooth shading, you need to be using something to draw with that lets you do light and dark lines, like a pencil. Smooth shading involves pressing hard with your pencil to create really dark areas, and then pressing lighter and lighter to create a blend from dark to light. Hatching is a very important technique with drawing. Hatching involves drawing quick little parallel lines to create the illusion of darkness. You can put more and more lines to go from light to dark. Up close, it looks just like a bunch of lines, but far away, it looks more like a smooth transition from light to dark. Cross hatching involves using hatching, but instead of making all the lines in the same direction, you crisscross them, like back and forth, and overlap them to create darker and darker areas. Cross hatching can create very realistic drawings. And stippling is about dots, making dots. Lots and lots of dots. You can add more and more dots to create darker and darker areas of shading. I mean, up close, it's just dots, but from far away, it looks like a smooth blend. Getting good at shading is just a matter of practice. I bet you've seen some of these techniques that I've shown you before. Maybe you've even tried some yourself. No matter what you like to draw with, you can add shading to your drawing. A pencil's great because you can press soft to create really light lines, and you can press harder to create really dark lines. So you can create a smooth blend from light to dark, which makes it perfect for smooth shading. A pen is a little bit different. With a pen, the lines are always usually dark. So you got to use some special shading techniques to work with a pen. Something like cross hatching or hatching. Pen's actually perfect. You can also do shading with markers. You can use stippling with markers or solid shading. And you can use other stuff too. You can use crayons and chalk. Whatever you like to draw with, there's some form of shading that you can use in your drawings. It's good to practice all these because different techniques will work better in different situations, and it depends what you're drawing with. So a pencil is perfect for smooth shading, but a pen or a marker isn't so good for that. For a pen or marker, you might want to use cross hatching. You can use a pen or marker to do stippling, but you can't really do stippling with a pencil. So you should always be kind of switching it up and trying different stuff to see what works well for you in different situations. Here's a great way to practice. Draw some long boxes on a page. Let's start with smooth shading. Using a pencil or a pencil crayon, color the box going from one side to the other. Start by pressing very soft on the pencil, but as you move across the box, you press harder and harder until you're pressing very hard by the time you reach the other side and creating a very dark area. That's smooth shading. In the next practice box, we're going to try to do some hatching. So use a pen or a very thin marker and start by drawing quick, thin lines across the box. Make them not very tight together at the start, but as you move across the box, you make them tighter and tighter together until you reach the other side when they're very tight together. Up close, it looks just like a bunch of stripes, but from far away, it has the illusion of going from light to dark. This is hatching. In the next box, we're going to use cross hatching. Just like before, using a pen, you draw quick little sets of lines, but they should be in random directions. We're going to be overlapping the hatches just a little bit at the start, and as you move across the box, you should be overlapping more and more lines so it gets darker and darker towards the other side. Again, up close it looks like lines, but far away it looks like a smooth blending from light to dark. That's cross hatching. Let's use a marker and try some stippling in the last box. Start on one side and put some dots. They should be far apart on this side, but as you move across the box, you should be putting more and more dots, getting closer and closer together until you reach the other side where the dots are super close together. Up close, it's just dots. Far away, it's like a smooth blend from light to dark. This is stippling. Now that we've practiced some shading, how do we add shading to our drawings? The type of shading you use depends on what you're drawing and what you're drawing with. If you keep practicing the different types of shading, you'll learn what works well in the different situations. Let's do some shading on a drawing. Here's a dinosaur. Isn't he cute? Look at that cute little dinosaur. All right, let's use a pen and we'll use hatching to add the shading. If you have an object in your picture, think of it as a real object. Where's the light in the scene? If the light's at the top on one side, that means that the shadow is on the bottom on the other side. We're using hatching, so I'm going to draw some hatches along the bottom side of the dinosaur to create the shading. Go around and do this on all the areas of your object where there should be shadows. This guy needs shading on the bottom of his head, his belly, his tail. Add more hatching to areas that don't feel smooth or dark enough, or even add some cross hatching to make sure some spots are very dark. Don't forget, you can even use shading to create the shadow underneath the object on the ground. This will help you push things backwards and forwards in your drawing. When you're done, the object should feel more three-dimensional. And if you're drawing a dinosaur, it should feel extra scary. Roar! Shading will feel weird at first, but that's just because it's new. The more you do, the more it'll start to feel natural. And eventually you'll get to the point where you can do different types of shading really easily and take your drawings to the next level. Shading is a simple way to add complexity and depth to your drawings. And it's fun. So, pretty cool, right? All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.